I know, I was surprised you had a whole day. Hi, I'm Julie Blanner from the lifestyle website julieblanner.com, where I share easy ideas for entertaining, home decor, and so much more. And as you know, I have a lot of minimalist tips because I myself am a minimalist. I like to even keep things pretty low-key during the holidays. One of the ways that I do that is I only use fresh decor, and I integrate it with some of my favorite staples that I'll pull from other areas of our home. And that way it doesn't consume any additional space. Just order a few things and I carry it throughout the home, like this beautiful velvet ribbon. It is so pretty, so luxe. I think I spent about $30 on an entire roll, and I will use it in just about every room. And so one element, everything else is fresh or repurposed from throughout our home, our everyday essentials, which you can find in the description below a video on my everyday essentials. In full disclosure, before I can set the table for Christmas, I have to clean some green mysterious goo off the table. I actually think this is from a project that Annie had where she grew some crystals. Anyways, never a dull day in a mom's life. In Christmas prep, I am processing flowers. You can see amaryllis do not travel well. They're going to take a little time to warm up and open up. So it will be a few days before we can do anything with them, maybe even up to a week. These guys, on the other hand, are going to need a lot more help and a lot more time. You can see more of my floral delivery here. I ordered a bunch of wreaths because you know they're just so easy to hang and update a room and make it feel festive in literally just 60 seconds. And lots of garland. And that box down there, well, that's a box of juniper, which is kind of my theme this year, just that soft wintry blue. I just can't get enough of these beautiful berries. So now I am removing any leaves that will fall below the vase and creating a really pretty yet simple centerpiece. And I'm using a lot of this barkier stuff, these little berries and juniper to fill it, and then accenting with garden roses because that creates a lot of impact for the least amount of money. I love using a little something in each place setting, like this juniper. You can often find this in your own backyard.
I just finished taking some videos for this, from my mom's video, and I'm just walking back up right now. So, gosh, this hill is like quite the hike. This is at our lake cottage, so it's quite the hike, but you know. So I was recording some juniper because it's really pretty. It's like the plant with the berries on it, and it's really pretty.
My gold flatware, my standard everyday white dishes and glassware, beautiful candlesticks, and of course a flower arrangement. Now you can learn how to make so many different flower arrangements right here. So if you click subscribe, you'll see more. I have so much fun playing with flowers. Now these are garden roses, but any roses will do. Again, some juniper that you might find in your own backyard and some additional berries to fill in. Super easy, a $5 vase, and it took me about 20 minutes to create. Now you know my love for adding a wreath in place of art, and this wreath is no exception. I replaced the cow painting that usually resides in here with a juniper wreath and just hung it on the same nail. And then I used a pin to insert the velvet bow. These sweet berries will look so beautiful all winter long, and that's just how I design my Christmas decor. I often don't want to take it down in January because it just then feels so stark. So I'll leave a few hints behind, like this Juniper Wreath. One of my favorite things to do is to add garland throughout our home for the holidays. And that's just what I did in the entrance to our breakfast nook. Drapey garland to really make an entrance and make it feel special. And you see this from the living room as well. Now there are a couple secrets to hanging garland. First of all, the fresher the better. And that's because as soon as it starts drying out, it starts taking shape. And you want it to take the shape of wherever you're hanging it, whether it be your stairwell or your mantle. So what I did here was I literally just draped it over that corner where I inserted a nail, again in the middle where I had the nail, and I just kind of like punch it down onto the nail to secure it. And again right there, and you'll see how it drapes so much more beautifully on this side. Well, we're going to cut this side and flip it so it does the same. Now I cut the pieces right here and I ended up adding another nail, and you only really have to do this with cedar, but now I'm hanging the garland right there on that nail. I'm gonna trim this up and then I'll kind of add in a little greenery right there, and you'll never know that this wasn't how it came together to begin with. Garland is always hand put together, and so there's always a natural break. So let it drape as long as you want it to and find that natural break and then trim it off. Perfect. So now I'm deciding whether I want it to be just one swag to the side or if I'm going to drape it back down to the other side of the cabinetry. I have so much cedar, the world is my oyster. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the natural break. In garland, there's always a natural break where it kind of bends, where there's a little less wood than others. I'm going to find a great spot to kind of end this. Now you can either leave it as a swag up here, or you can let some drape. If you've been following around for a while now, I love a good drape. I know it drives everyone else nuts, but it's absolutely beautiful and it's totally worth it. So I'm going to let it drape a little bit, find that break, and use my floral shears and give it a good clip. The wire is always the most challenging. There we go. And from there, I can fluff it up at the ends if I need to. So easy, so beautiful. Now that I have my garland hung, I'm actually going to add a little juniper to it, just for a little more color and texture. And you can see I hung a lot of it with some fishing twine, but in areas where it needs a little more weight to be held, I use regular twine. And I'll garnish it with a ribbon later. Okay, now I'm gonna share my secret weapon with you for Christmas decorating. Gloves. And I know these aren't pretty, but oh my gosh, they are so necessary when you're working with fresh greens. Some things like juniper have almost splintery effects, and yeah, it's just not even worth it. Anyways, my secret weapon, so easy. I'm sure you have some kind of gloves around. Hopefully they look cuter than mine. Now what I'm doing is I'm just gonna tuck in some little stems of juniper, and you'll see that you can see some stems right here. So I layer them and I'll just tuck it up under, and then I'll find some floral wire in there that I can tuck it into. So there's no need to have like any special materials or anything like that. It's a quick and easy way of really making your garland feel full. And now you don't see any stems, and you get that nice, beautiful texture and a little added color of those beautiful blue little juniper berries. Tied this ribbon right around the garland and allowed it to drape so beautifully. this before. This is just a little planter that used to have a plant in it, and of course I have totally dropped the ball and forgotten to water it for weeks at a time. But anyways, I just filled this planter with some fresh juniper, and it's amazing how one little potted plant can really bring a room to life. Just some pretty fresh greens. And that's just about all we'll do to decorate for Christmas in this space. Yet it feels festive and it will last all winter long. Even as the berries dry, they'll only look more beautiful. Okay, so now I've put a bunch of candles here, and I'm just kind of working the pieces of juniper in and the branches around the candles and adjusting the candles where needed be. And again, I'm using my super beautiful gloves so that it doesn't hurt. So you can see I have a little hole back here, so we're going to tuck this one underneath. It's always a great idea to clean after you're done doing this because it can get to be a little bit messy. So I use these candles year-round in so many different ways. I use them for our table settings. At Halloween, I made kind of a spooky decor setup for a little party we were having. And then, of course, they make a really beautiful addition at Christmas. And they look so real. So that's just another easy way to use decor year-round to take that minimalist approach.